site and you see your list of students, but your students don't have a picture, it's just because they haven't added it yet. That happens to be an assignment that a lot of professors who are using Moodle now say, that's probably just to get their feet wet, go in your profile and add a picture, and then they get to see who the student looks like before they even come to class. So that's just because I know they have this question all the time. I'll bring that up.
So just a question is this the view that you have when you're looking at it? Mm-hmm. So it's very easy for you to read.
Yes, and
the blackboard.
Yes, and when I go into other views in here, again, we can just scratch the surface in this right now, but you can go into another view in which you can just get one student's list of responses. So if you wanted to see just their responses, if you wanted to respond to one student's response in a private thing, you can attach a little comment, you know, what do you mean by this? And it would just go to that student. Or you could give a global response. Or you could cluster them. You could pick 4 students and say, you were all talking about the same thing. Have you thought about this?
This is on just the teaching side. How ready are the students to get on this?
Fish to water. They love it. They love it. Because the marginalized students who don't talk in class have an opportunity to do it here. Those students who haven't done the homework can come up here and pick up enough tidbits and stuff. You know, I'm dumb but I ain't stupid. I know what they're doing.
In terms of getting on and using.
Oh no, in terms of technically being able to do it, I've had maybe out of a course, any given semester, 20 to 30 students, maybe 2 or 3 who had issues, usually from off campus, dialing in from their, sorry about this, dialing in from their apartments, and they have to go to the library to do it. So that's the workaround.
But the technical obstacles that they may go through, not really that, it honestly depends on what has been provided to them by the professor. So if the professor just, yours is actually honestly pretty clear. You know, your steps are very clear. So I think that's why a lot of the time you didn't have any students that had issue at all, you know. But there are some faculty that just kind of dump things in there and expect students would know. And students would call me and say, what am I supposed to do here? And you actually have to ask them what they want to do there. So.
Now, if I could just get into the grade book, just real quickly. That's the one thing that students say they just love. They love being able to go up and see their grades, and it's a wonderful way for me to organize things. All of the assignments going across, we can just scroll across here. You'll just see that I have all the assignments and all of the grades are all posted here. And they can go up there at any time, and I can go and I can, again, put little comments here, again, in one of their assignments. And I didn't do it this semester. I'm going to begin doing that significantly in the fall, embedding comments in. Rather than sending them emails or writing things on papers and stuff, just being able to type it right in, they can go back and see it, and they can reference it. It's a running log of communiques.
You'll notice also, guys, that, oh, you know, we scrolled this way. I don't see any of the students' names here, so how do I know, you know, how do I know which one I'm looking at? If you just hover your mouse over the cells, it will tell you.
The Blackboard didn't have that. This is such a cool feature now.
See how it tells the name. You know, wherever you go, it tells you, okay, that's Michael's.
Can you attach a file? Because I do get to the grade in here.
Yes, there is actually a file, the comments area that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So right now you don't see that view, but if I were in the editing mode of this grades area, there's actually underneath the score, there's a little comments thing, which you can actually just type in some text, but you can also add like an attachment of, an attachment.
Okay, good.
And so, for example, a way that I'm going to be using that, I never have them turn in papers to me on paper now. They have to turn to me as a document. And then I use track changes. And then I could put iterative track changes, documents in here so that they can keep a running log of it.
Okay. And then they come here and get their information as opposed to me sending each person individually an email.
Exactly.
And of course, they only see their own information.
And also, there's been several issues that have been brought up in the last several months in terms of things faculty would like to see embedded in GaelLearn/Moodle. And just hot off the press, Moodle 2.0 will now be out that will address many of these things, and the things that we're adding to customize it to our St. Mary's environment should make this an even better system come this summer when we roll out 2.0. So I'm excited about the capabilities of next semester. I think, Sansa, you were first?
Sorry to ask all these questions.
That's good.
Is there an easy way to have a column that automatically calculates participation grades for students in
Participation
seminar?
grades, yeah, well, you have to
So,
put,
yeah, so is there, like, can you have a column that has a sub-column that has 45 slots?
this audio exercise, if you go down, it will actually calculate down at the bottom just this exercise. Or you could look horizontally going across and it'll
No,
calculate
I'm
all
talking
the
for
grades.
each, but there you have all these different students. I'm talking about each student has a box that says participation grade, right?
Yes.
Then you click that box and there is another box with 45 slots
Yep.
where every day you input the participation grade.
I see what you're
Maybe
saying.
with comments.
Um,
Because I try to do that with
See.
Blackboard.
This is this
Okay.
student here, and I could create a set of, a box like this that would then at the end calculate out a certain grade. This is all of the grades, but you can have this so it would be just one grade,
It
one
could be
one
like,
exercise.
you could have a participation category, and underneath the participation category, several things that
Right.
amount, that are what's considered participation. There are so many ways to do it. There are many ways to do participation if you really want
Daily,
people to
yeah.
see, oh, why is my participation grade this? So for example, we had Lewis Jordan who had something like, the way he did it was based on their attendance and also how they participated that day. So he actually had, how many weeks are there in a term? Like 15 weeks in a term. He actually had
Depends.
15 participation, participation category, 15 boxes that represented the week, and he gave them a number, like 3 would be an A for the week, 2 is, you know, something else, you know, so that's a way to do it.
If you look here, for this particular student, or this exercise, just the discussion threads, I wanted to have a summation of here. Okay, so that's with one student, not for all of them, but just the discussion threads. That was their participation in that particular exercise across, 8 weeks or whatever it was.
Okay, but could you, for instance, have a discussion thread summation at the end, or could you have it as a regular box within that list, and then you click it, and then you have another box with all the threads?
I'm
That-
sure we could.
I'm sure that the-
You see what I'm saying? So you
Yeah,
keep it
nested
cleaner.
inside of it, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
We really have to
Probably.
take a look at exactly how you want this to be set up, because it is possible. You know, everybody has a different way of doing it, and I'm almost positive what you have in mind is possible.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like how it's gonna line up in here.
Also, optionally, with the discussion threads, you can assign, when you create the threads, assign a certain value to a post, someone posting on it, so they have it automatically calculate, as opposed to you having to manually put it in with assignments and with the discussion threads, so that you don't have to manually enter in all the grades. If someone posts in a discussion thread, it's worth 1 point. If they post twice, for each time, or you can do it if they as a total, like they've satisfied this, so they get this amount of points, where it automatically calculates it for each student, as opposed to you having to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I just want to give you a little feedback. When you get to that level of detail, you could be overwhelming some of
Absolutely.
us here.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
I would like to suggest we be a little bit higher,
Yeah.
and when we do the individual work with you, we do
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
Right.
That's actually, the grade thing is definitely something that we
Yeah.
do have to meet with you individually about.
Yeah.
Everybody does it.
It's very complicated to
Yes,
initially
definitely.
figure out.
So when I email you, Ray, to say I want to set my Intro to Social class up on Moodle, do you get somewhere from Gale Express the list of students, or do I have to input the students, or do they have to go and register into that class?
It
to
gets
show?
automatically added into your
Okay.
GaelLearn cursor. This is the way it works, is there is a connection between what the registrar has and the GaelLearn system. So as long as the student is actually registered in the course, they will show up there automatically.
Great.
But we do know that there are times when there's a student that needs to be in there and they're not really technically enrolled, maybe they're trying to complete an incomplete, or they're auditing a course. Unlike Blackboard, you do have the option to add that student, so that would be in this assign roles area. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. So if you put assign roles, you actually have the option to add a student. Again, this person, you normally don't have to do this, but if you did have to add somebody that's auditing, trying to finish an incomplete, you just find them here by typing their name, and then they get added here.
You can also add other faculty members. If you have colleagues teaching similar courses, you can add them in. We do that in communication.
You just answered my question.
Yeah. Okay,
How brilliant we are.
There's so many things that, again, that it's one of those things when you see some course that's actually in action, all these questions come up. But I would actually like to get you guys started. So this is the first thing that you guys are going to do now. Okay? Okay, so right here, let me go ahead and move this up. We are going to, the very first step when it comes to, you know, not just Moodle, but just anything that you're, any course site is that obviously you got to plan it out, and that's what this paper is for. So this is what you're going to do, guys. Let me go ahead and get into my little plan here. Okay. So right now, we're going to take about, 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes to plan your course site. And that means this. You're going to, first of all, name the site you're working with, because obviously, you're probably teaching a few different courses. So we're going to just work with one. You're going to work with one. Then you're going to list the resources that you want in the site. And the resources, what I mean by that is like the syllabus, the things that they just really have to click and read. Syllabus is a resource. Reading list is a resource. Articles, assignments, website links, those are all resources. I'd like you to list those things. Then you'd list the activities that you want in the site. Now, some of you may not have any activities. What do I mean by activities? Activities could be forums, like discussion forums, like what you saw had, blogs, wikis. Another activity is an assignment submission link, like Turnitin assignment submission. That's an activity, something that requires activity from the student. Okay, list activities if you have them. You may not. You may just have a course site that just has resources. Okay, then what I want you to do after you're really brainstorming. Okay, so again, first name the site that you're working with, and then now you're going to start to list the resources first. Then you're going to list activities. Then once you've done that, then this is important. I want you to make sure that you place these items in order from top to bottom. Okay, what do you think is like the most important? Pretend that you were the student in your class. How would you, if you were a student in your class, how would you expect it to be lined up? Okay, that's the way we do it in web services. So now why is this time so short? 5 to 8 minutes, really short? It's because, well, because we have very limited time, and also it really makes you think what is the most important, okay? So, ready? Break.